Let me put you on game to a different way of thinking. Black King, empower the youth to live the truth, got big dreams. Black King, all of my brothers set up for each other, that's how we know we. Black King, bringing more unity to community, yeah. Black King.
Yes, you know what time it is. My name is Walter Watts, and Kings, Queens, welcome to King's Hour. Like always, I got my kings with me. Mook, talk to me.
Yeah.
I feel it. Jojo.
It was good.
Hey, man, I'm excited to have you guys on again, man. I'm excited to have this podcast because we've had a great 2 last episodes that I think I've learned so much about, really about Black men's mental health, and having our guests on last episodes have really enlightened what this podcast is to me. This is almost like my therapy with you guys. So what I've learned so much, and something that even Dr. Baiden had talked about in our last episode was having a group of people around you where you can be okay not being okay and not being judged by it. So a shout out to Dr. Baiden. And then Dr. Furguson, he brought up something really impactful when he talks about not just taking medications if you're being depressed. There's other avenues and other outlets that you can take. So I'm excited for this episode to really dive into Black men's mental health, but most important, our mental health and kind of the things that you guys learned from our last episode. So really starting with you, Mook, talk to me. What'd you learn?
Well, you kind of got into it, man, but a lot of what I took from it is, again, having that sense of community around you, and having that sense of community that you can be vulnerable around them. Dr. Baiden also talked about having or curating your friends list to people that can handle you at your worst, and have you looked at your friends list and said, hey, have you been with me at my worst? Are you familiar with what that looks like? You deserve to get this side of me. That's something that I've really been paying close attention to. But also, like I said, having that sense of community and having that comfort of being transparent with y'all, knowing that I'm not going to be judged. You're going to give me your point of view, and it's going to come from your heart.
You said something that's important, and she said it as well. And I want to elaborate on it. Like she said, having a group of people around you that love you even at your worst. Do you have an example of something like that that's happened to you where maybe you thought you had somebody in your circle that really wasn't there when you were at your worst? You don't have to say names or anything, but what does that look like? I mean, it sounds good, but what does that look like?
Disappointment. If I'm being honest, disappointment. Because you just, again, if you listen to the episode, I think that's what creates this barrier for us to become vulnerable. Because you become vulnerable with people that never deserved it. And you gave them too much credit, and you didn't evaluate. Hey, have you seen me at my lowest of lows? And have you proven that you're going to handle that with care and not going to throw that in my face later? So do I have an example of it? Yes, I absolutely do. And thinking about it still stinks. So I don't want to really go into it, to be completely honest. If we're talking about it, but like I said, that's what makes having something real so much greater. Is when you have extended that olive branch and said, here's who I am, and then it's received. It just feels right. It feels right coming from situations like that.
And it's a hard spot because I think for a lot of times for men, you get a circle around you and you go through different trials or whatever that you're strong in, and you fuck around and give your heart to somebody. And then when you're at your weakest, that's when they show their true colors. And it's hard to trust people after that. And that could mess you up. So
for sure,
I think it's important to pay attention to who's around when you're at your lowest. So I respect it. Jojo, talk to me, man. What'd you get out of it a little bit?
Man, the main thing that I picked up was how important these conversations are. The conversation we're having, how important it is for other Black men to see us having this conversation, and for us, like I said, this is our therapy. A lot of times, not talking these things out is probably one of the most unhealthy things you can do. And I think other Black men seeing us have these same conversation could be saving lives. We never know.
Right.
You know, it could be talking someone off the ledge, like, hey, they're going through it too. This isn't just me. You know, it's them. It's got to be more. You know, so that was the main thing. Like, this is important. This is saving lives, I feel, and this is definitely helping me, and I know it's helping y'all. So yeah, that's what I picked up.
Now, for the listeners, JoJo's a cool, laid back dude. You know what I mean? He's not going to be in the front line yelling and screaming, but he's going to make sure that you hear what he has to say. So, with me just knowing you, JoJo, is having an open dialogue and communication, is that difficult for you? Is that something that you always have internal? Like, explain to me how this has impacted you when it talks about communicating how you feel.
I mean, well, early on in my life, I've always been a big communicator, right? But early on in my life, we're all athletes. Talking about your feelings and being vulnerable was not the thing to do, you know. So when I would do things like that, it's looked at as soft. So you kind of start internalizing, doing the macho thing. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to process your emotions. You don't want to, definitely don't want to tell anybody. You for sure don't want to go to therapy. You know what I'm saying? But as you get older and you go through these things, you have these different life experiences, man, you find out, man, the more and more you keep this stuff in, the longer and longer it's going to be to resolve these issues that you're having, man. Like, you got to, this extensive therapy or extensive, internal work you're going to have to do to fix all these things that you haven't been addressing throughout your life because of, like I said, man, there are stereotypes when it comes to men. You got to be this, you can't, don't say that, don't cry, don't show them, you know, like you said, you want to be the strongest one. You didn't want to be vulnerable for your siblings. Like, it's hard.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So once I got older, you realize, like, you got to get this stuff out. You have to, or you're gonna fall apart.
Yeah. Real quick question for you, man, because you have kids, man, and something that I go through is I often ask myself, am I perpetuating the situation worse with my kids, or am I creating what I didn't have by creating that environment where you can cry and express yourself? Because it's one thing, you know, for my son to be crying because he's upset and he's hurt about something, but it's another thing for him just to be crying and pouting because he wants something,
right?
You know. And as parents, I feel like half of us get annoyed, like, just, quit crying, you know, or else it's something that happened. But is that his way of communicating that something's off, and do we need to take that slow? And that's what I battle with right now. So I'm like, am I perpetuating that situation by always telling them, quit crying? And like, stop, go in your room and go handle that in your room. I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I making that worse? Because maybe I think he needs that and he needs to let that out, or am I helping him? You know, and is that selfish of me just because I don't want to hear it?
Right.
You know, and I'm telling him to go do it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. That's something that I've recently, you know, and I never really paid attention to it, but after thinking about it recently, I've really started to pay attention to the thing. Like, am I doing him a disservice by telling him just to quit crying, you know, because I'm annoyed, and quit throwing a tantrum and quit doing this without, you know, obviously telling him to stop, but having an understanding, like, hey, I need you to communicate with me, you know.
Hey, so the crazy part is that's where I'm at, right? So in my mind, I'm like, I'm trying to get them to understand that they gotta stop and process what they're dealing with it. My delivery is wild. I had to check myself. Literally, yes, I had to check myself. I had to go in the room and apologize to my daughter and explain to her, like, this is what I wanted you to do. I wanted you to stop crying, but to process. You know, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, stop crying.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh man, who do I sound like, man? Who do I sound like?
You feel me? You know, and how do they receive that? You know, you just stop crying, like, okay, am I supposed to? And am I?
What do I do
for the world?
Yeah.
Somebody tell you to stop crying. You just
I'm like, stop crying, breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Process it, like, but it's that delivery, man. Because, you know, like I said, it's all learning. It's all work in progress.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we're figuring it out right now, and trying to undo or trying to create this path for our kids, man. It's that's a whole other. And then dealing with your own mental health issues on top of that, and trying not to create new ones.
Okay, so this is good because on our episodes for listeners, you should go listen to part 1 and part 2. They talked about creating a comfortable space where you can relate to your patient, obviously, but maybe that can be the same situation for your kids. So saying like, hey, look, and obviously, let me quick disclaimer, I have no kids, so this comes straight out of left field. You know what I mean? It sounds good, but I ain't never did it. You might say like, I understand you're upset, but relax and talk to me regular. Like that sounds good because they say you want to be on the same page with them where they can feel comfortable, they let down their guard and have and communicate. Because honestly, I think it's natural for us to have that reaction. Because I'm gonna call you out, Mook. I went to go to Mook's house, and his son went over there pouting and crying, and I had the same reaction Mook did. It was like, stop. This is what you said, because I remember. You said, you better not cry. You better not start crying. Right? But in my mind,
start doing the lip whipper too, like you wanted to.
You better not.
You better not. We don't know what happened. He could have got slapped in the mouth. We don't know nothing. He just came in there pouting, right? He said, "You better not." And in my mind, I was like, "Oh yeah, like you better not. Like talk normal."
Right, right.
But like you said, JoJo, sometimes it's the delivery.
It's the delivery. Because what's our instant reaction? We're already here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like kids don't listen. They watching. They picking up on all your social cues. They picking up all your body language. Like, oh, he hot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and when I did it, I just had flashbacks. You know, my dad wasn't abusive, none of that. He was just the old school, get your hands dirty dad. Like,
yeah,
suck it up. You know, I was raised in the 60s and the 70s. I don't want to hear that.
So there's a line in the sand, though. Like, you know that if I crossed this line, there was bite. I was going to get bit. You know?
Right. But then we fast forward to us, and it's like I do it, and I'm like, wait, we ain't. Let's process this. You know what I'm saying? Like but by then it's too late. It's too late. They're already having a meltdown. You just yelled at me. You know. You said you would. That's my daughter. You said you would never yell at me.
So let me address it. Let me address what you said real quick, Walt. You know, because I think that it sounds logical. It definitely does in a perfect situation. That's where you want to be, right? That's where you want to be, is talking through, hey, what are you feeling? Why are you feeling this? However, for kids, especially since they were young, they've only learned how to communicate through crying. You know what I'm saying? So ever since they know how to talk, crying gets them what they wanted. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, in my head, it's like, how do I remove that? And now that might be the wrong part of it for me. It's thinking I need to remove that and create communication there. But, you know, that you find that crying is now used for leverage for things, you know, and that's where the piece of, okay, let me just, let's talk through this, what's going on. And then you get this motherfucker in your face,
right.
You're already trying to communicate a little bit, and he's still, Then I'm like, all right, we ain't talking no more. Go. You know, let's go. Get out of here. You know, before I get upset. You know, that's like I said, I don't know. All that to say, man, you know, if I'm being vulnerable, I like to talk about how great of a dad I am. I fucking know I'm a great dad. There's nobody that can tell me.
Oh, you are for sure.
But thinking about things like that, that's my vulnerability. Those are the things I'm like, but am I doing right? You know, could I be doing better? Am I setting myself up or my son up for success for a world that's going to not love him immediately? Right. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. But yeah, man, all that to say, like I said, JoJo, you kind of got me on when you mentioned your piece about your growing up.
But you know how it is, man. Like, you know how it goes. It's a struggle. You're torn. You're torn between communication. On the flip side, I turned out fine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But in reality, it's like, nah, you know, it's some things I could have talked through. Some things I could have processed.
Now you guys talk about, you bring up a good point, Mook, about as a child, the first way to communicate is through crying. Communication is not something that little kids know how to do properly. And we have to try to educate them to express their emotions and express their feelings. And I think that goes perfectly with Black men's mental health. Is as much as a father, you guys are doing these things to help your children. Like, how are you guys trying to get better at communicating your emotions and your feelings in your own mental health? And I think that's the key really for this episode, is understanding maybe what is something that you're struggling even with today, now, that you can be transparent with and talk about and get off your chest that maybe you probably couldn't do in the past. Any one of you guys can start first.
Well, for me, like I said, I'm super vulnerable. This is how, I've learned to accept that's how I am and that's who I should be. But just life, man, like life right now, it's great. Don't get it twisted, but there's a lot mental health wise that I've been dealing with. You get to this point where you feel like you have to pivot in your life, whether it's your job, whether it's your family, career, your health, and I think I've reached that point where I've kind of depleted what I can, or I've gotten what I can get out of this arena or area of my life, and I need to just make a transition. And I've been constantly battling with it. You go back and forth. You think about the security of your family. You think about your mental health. Will this make things worse, or will it make things better? You think about your comfort, and then you have to deal with all these things and process. And on top of that, you still gotta lead your home. You still have to lead your children. You still have to provide. Do I have time to go out and chase this, or do I have time to go out and pursue this? So that's a struggle right now. I think I've reached a point that I think every man reaches, where you got to make a pivot. And we talked about it a little off camera. It's like, either you're going to run from it, or you're going to, step into that. Either one, it's the unknown, but the one, in your heart of hearts is the door you need to take,
Yeah.
So it's like that struggle. It's that struggle.
But how do you know when you need to take a? Go ahead, Mook. You got something?
Yeah, real quick, because it's crazy. Because mentally, that will drive you crazy trying to pivot, right?
For sure.
But at the same time, mentally, we've been taught that pivoting is wrong. We've been taught that trying to do something new, like, how quickly out of college they said, hey, make sure you get a job and keep it for a while, and maintain that job, don't change nothing, and try to get a good job history, when it's like, no, you should go and try shit. Go and try shit and figure life out. If you
right.
One job, and think about the people that did do that when we were back there, that had a whole bunch of jobs. We were talking about them like, they can't hold a job. They can't do this. Like, they can't go through life like we know better for them. Like, we know what they should be going through. And, like, bringing that back to what you're talking about, I'm like, I think about mental health, and I'm like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to be in there going crazy, thinking that, no, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to run through this wall and fight through no matter how concussed I am. When it's like, nah, motherfucker, go around and go in that door.
Right.
Go to the next door. It might take a little bit longer, but go.
Right. And the one thing in my life that I've always kept in consideration was or that I kind of live by, is all new experiences will raise my ceiling. You know what I'm saying? But it's still scary as shit.
Yeah.
Especially as an adult with kids and it's like that's a tough battle. It's like, yeah, I'll learn more and I'll be able to grow more and I'll be able to maybe financially, spiritually, health-wise, I'll be able to do new things or reach a higher level. But I know this level.
Mm-hmm.
I can function at this level, even though I'm struggling mentally. But I can manage it. You're telling yourself these things, right? You tell yourself the thing, but I need to go raise my ceiling. I need to go be what I'm supposed to be, or try to figure it out. Stay on that pursuit, man. It's a journey.
How much of that do you think is our background? I'm sorry, Wall. I know you got something. But one question I got, because you hit me. So, how much of that do you think is our background, where we're like, I'm in this situation, I'm comfortable, I don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah.
I know I can make ends meet, and it's good enough right here. Like, we've never been taught on the offensive. It's always been the defensive for people that look like us.
Security.
Absolutely. Even though I'm going through hell, like, My whole life has been hell. I can deal with this hell.
It's
you
like,
know,
what?
this is hell that's manageable. But it's
Bro.
like, but you deserve heaven, though. You know? You deserve heaven. You've been given shit your whole life. You deserve heaven, but you're cool with the second to the bottom level of hell, though. I got one level, so I'm cool.
This enough.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And maybe it's our expectations of ourselves. You know what I mean? As confident as we are, and as much as we say that we're an alpha or things like that, in the back of our mind, we all have fear. And we're working and we're letting that fear come out when it comes to pivoting. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, listen. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Because y'all already know I always have a book. I always got something. But I can't remember who said it, but it said, not living up to your potential will weigh on you for a lifetime. And that's my struggle.
Oh, talk to me. Talk to me, JoJo.
Struggle. That's my struggle.
Hit me with the quote again. Talk to me again.
Not living up to your potential will weigh on you for a lifetime. And that's my struggle. And even if I can, so this is, I'm gonna get you to your root. I can hear people say the best things about me, but I know that I can do better. And I'm not. Like, they don't know I'm playing down. Like I tell you guys, that playing down is like a thing. You know, people do it. They play down. They don't shine. It's that quote, you don't want to shine your line bright because you don't want to, you know, put out other people's light. That's been a common theme of my life, man. Like, and I know I have so much more potential, so much more to give the world, but I just feel like I'm selling myself short. But at the same time, I don't have that. It's like I don't see it in myself, but I know it's there. I don't know if that makes, you know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Interesting. You know the other quote that goes with that.
Hit me.
Our greatest fear is that we're not inadequate, is that we are great beyond measure.
Yes, sir.
You know? But let me. I'm gonna pull that quote up because the other part of it is what really is going to shake you, because it speaks directly to what you said. Let's see, the greatest fear. Sorry, y'all.
Hit us with it. We're gonna wait for you.
You gonna wait for me?
We're gonna wait for you. Because
our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond our measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be?
Feel me?
That's what the whole quote said.
Oh,
that's what the whole.
And that's that struggle. I feel like if y'all listening, man, I promise it's not just you. It's not just you. You can look at me, look at Walt, Mook, and you might see success. You might see, oh, they got families, they got homes, they got this and they got that. That's still a struggle. I still struggle with it. I have everything. I legitimately have everything I want right now. My kids, my family, everybody's good, but I still struggle. You know what I'm saying, with that potential, that untouched potential. Like, I could be doing way more.
Let me tell you where I struggle with now. I struggle with me wanting too motherfucking much. That's me. Like, I'm looking at myself right now, and I got everything I want. I'm content, but I'm not. I got so much more places that I'm going, and that's the thing, though. I think my background has told me, hey, just be happy. Slow down. You don't need to go and build more. You generational wealth. Look at what all you got. You got all this stuff already. You should be happy. Damn that. I want the world and everything in it, man.
Right.
And I don't. God put this in my heart, so I don't feel like I'm wrong for it. You know, a lot of people will tell me, hey, you want a lot, but I'm not gonna stop.
Right.
I'm not gonna stop till I get it, and that's what I struggle with, because everything life has told me is, hey, be cool, be calm, be humble, you know, and JoJo, I think we gel so much because we're like yin and yang. We're the same person internally, but I'm gonna be in your face like,
and I need that. And I need that. That's what I'm saying. And I need that, man. Like, for real. I don't think you understand how much that helps. You know what I'm saying? That, like, it is. That's why this is important, man. Like, it is, because, you know, who's gonna speak life into you other than your brothers or other than the people you surround yourself with, you know?
Yeah.
And who's gonna bring you down to earth?
Right. Humble you, you know. Who gonna humble you?
Like,
yeah.
Chill, I see where you're going, King.
It's like bring it back down.
Bring it back down.
Come on down a little bit.
If we're being completely transparent, man, I sometimes, and I didn't realize this until honestly, I was probably with Mook, is that as much as I'm full with confidence and I talk my shit and I will get whatever I want to get, in the back of my mind, I question if I can handle it. You know what I mean?
Get it.
Like once I get it, Walt, can you really fucking handle this shit if I give it to you? And that's sometimes what I think about is like, I'm lining everything up, but will I be able to handle the world if you gave it to me? You know what I mean? And
I feel like I need to write that down, bro.
you know what I mean? Like, and I'm starting to realize like it makes me nervous, but things keep happening. And I think what that means for me is like, I need to continue to try to educate myself. I need to be around people like you guys where I can bounce ideas and have this open dialogue and try to learn as much as I can. Cause I feel like the day that I think that I know what I'm doing and I'm here and I made it, that's when I get the world and I'm not fucking ready. Cause I thought I had it made already. You know what I mean? So I'm eager to get all this shit, but I mean, I'm scared at the same time, man.
Right.
I truly am.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? It's real. It's what we go through on a daily, but we still making it happen. But it's still struggles, man. The one thing I realize in life, man, is just like a family, just like your wife, your kids, or your job. There's never gonna be a day of like completion. There's not gonna be a day of like when this is all over. When I finally finish
right.
It's never going to be a point. It's always a journey. It's a process. One thing about me is accepting that in my head. That keeps me going. That lets me know it's like, all right, man, it's still going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow might be hard. It's still going to be next year. Next year might be hard. Then it's going to be good. Then it's going to be hard. I'm building my character. I'm raising my ceiling. I'm creating this. I'm creating this art or this picture that's going to be finished at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And something I had to realize too with on how I talk. Someone told me, was like, Walter, a lot of times you say, man, I'd be happy if I just got a boat, or I'd be happy if I had a truck.
That
self-talk. But I'm also communicating that I'm not happy. Without it. You know what I'm saying? And how we talk to ourselves means everything. And then you start talking about the things that you don't have. You lack to realize the things that you do have. So I've learned to not say like, oh man, I'd be so happy if I had a swimming pool and blah, 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 blah. Cause now I'm saying that I'm not happy and that's not the case. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I've had to get better at, to make sure that I tell myself like, it's not about the material things or anything like that. I'm happy right now because I got friends and family and I'm happy.
Right.
Because I can do what I want to do. You know what I mean?
You breathing.
So, yeah, it's crazy. I say that to say that social media, just social expectations, it surrounds us so much. Is that if you talk about your job or whatever the case may be and saying like, oh, if you bounce around and try different jobs, like, oh, this motherfucker is not secure. He doesn't know what he wants. He doesn't have a vision. That's what you would say. You know what I mean? If a motherfucker just keeps changing jobs. But like you said, Mook, like that's what you're supposed to do, to figure out what the fuck you want. Because none of us knew exactly what we were doing when we got out of college. But it's frowned upon if we try different jobs because of social expectations. Fuck that.
Fuck all that.
It's easier said than done, but we fall into that motherfucker.
You do that security thing, man. Like it's that it gets preached on you, like you said, from coaches, parents. Security, but they from a whole different generation. Luckily, we've been blessed, you know what I'm saying, to be in this land of abundance when it comes to jobs and different things and opportunity, right? And then just where we come from and, you know, the teams you guys play, the resources you guys made while being on these teams. And you know, we've been blessed with these opportunities, but still, man, it's like move around, jump around, try something, go backpacking. Do you know what I'm saying? Go find yourself. Try, find yourself spiritually. Do what you got to see if you really love. Because like I told you guys in the past, like after I was done playing football, I realized I didn't even love football, man. Like I wish I would have just been a college student, just doing cool shit. Man. That'd have been dope as hell to me. You know what I'm saying? Just figuring out who I was, trying different things, going different places, studying abroad or something, just doing stuff way earlier in my life. I'm not saying I can't do these things now. Right.
Actually, like on spring break or something, actually go somewhere and like
go somewhere.
Go on a vacation where people go to for spring break or a music festival for that matter.
Real stuff.
You couldn't even do that.
Do you know?
But
go ahead.
Real quick. Here's because you mentioned something. Here's what people don't talk about. Because we talk about jobs and moving around jobs. We ain't talking about relationships. You know what I'm saying? And being in relationships that are comfortable. But we already know, like, hey, this probably ain't it for me. I've been told that I'm supposed to be with this person forever. And like we put such a negative light on saying, you know what I experienced? I grew a lot with you. I'm so grateful for that experience. But I think we're going this way. We're holding on to something that is now pulling us apart. But like we haven't, as a society, we haven't gotten to the place where we're okay with having those phases of life, no matter where it's at.
Now, if you want me to be really transparent, hey, this is where I fucking struggle. So, in my mind, I am that dude. I am a king in all aspects. I would respect. I love women, and I've now been in 2 relationships that have failed. You know what I mean? One where I was married, we got divorced. And then recently I was in a relationship and that didn't work out. And I mean, people are going to listen to this. So we're going to keep it 100 though. My struggle is socially, I'm embarrassed for people to see like, oh, 2 relationships didn't work. There's something wrong with Walter. You know what I mean? And then I'm having this grudge on myself to be like, let me make this relationship work because I don't want to look like I'm the problem or something's always wrong. You know what I'm saying? So internally, I'm having a true battle with myself to be like, I have to make this work because people are going to look at me different. You know what I mean? And that's something I just learned about myself that I had a real issue with. You know what I mean? Not to say I didn't have real feelings and stuff for the women that I was with, but I maybe should have separated from the relationship a little bit earlier and didn't because I was like, you know what? I can do better. It's me. Let me just change. Let me tweak this. It's me. You know what I mean? And I think as men, a lot of times we put the pressure on ourselves and on our shoulders when sometimes we got to take that shit off and move the fuck on. And our ego will step right in front of you. I know for damn sure it did for me.
Right.
And I'm moving in a place where I got to just be, hey, I don't give a damn what people think. It's hard to say that, but it's the best way to be happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? I might care what you guys think. Like my internal group, I want to be able to tell you guys what's going on and be comfortable with 2 people understanding me and 50 people or 100 people not.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's where that's my battle.
That's like it's crazy because I think that for me, and I got the inside scoop because I've been your friend for so long that like it's crazy to hear you say that. And I think because you're too close to it, you can't really see. But if you zoom out a bit, you said you had 2 relationships for a long time.
For a long time.
Now it kind of makes sense on why you think the value of being with somebody for how long is important. You only had 2 relationships. You had anybody else, they didn't have 4, 5, 6, 7. I had a whole bunch of girlfriends from high school. And you're not talking high school till now. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of you've had your wife that you had for a long time, and then this last girlfriend is right after your wife, which you were interested in something important. So if you zoom out a bit, it kind of makes sense why you're built that way. You know, it kind of makes sense because you put a lot of value in those things that didn't work, like the time in a relationship, versus being like you didn't have this experiment when you circling around. You didn't. That wasn't what you were doing. So of course you're gonna feel bad. Of course you're gonna. But that comes. I feel like, and I'm not trying to preach or anything. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not anything. But I think that comes from, like we were talking about, you know, talking to other people and getting their opinion and realizing, you know, I also have those kind of feelings. You know, I have those kind of feelings because I still have those feelings, and I've been in a lot more relationships than you. You know, I still feel like a failure. You know, and I love you, Jenna. I love you if you're listening. But shit, there's days where I'm like, I wonder.
Hey, man.
I'm using that clip right there.
Hey, yo, send it on Mother's Day next year. Hey, check this out, man.
No, but that's real, man. That's real, and that's what I'm saying. But I don't. That's what society will put on you. That you're wrong for that, and that you should have it all figured out.
And social expectation of me being older. Oh, I should know everything by now, and I think that's what plays because it's never nothing like bad or anything, nothing crazy. It's just like internally, I'm like, oh, I'm older. I'm supposed to be established. I'm supposed to have you know what I mean? And that's the shit that I'll start thinking about, which is like, what is social expectations? You know what I mean? Like, that's just what people think should work.
Yeah, bro.
It's something that it's a box they put themselves in to create issues that don't even need to be there. It's like, live your life, man. Live in your lane. You know, it's easier said than done.
Right.
And that's social. I'm telling you. And we, you know, like I said, we've all lived in Utah or born in Utah. That whole shit around relationships will have you messed up, whether you in the religion or not. You 22 years old talking about, wait, hold on, I ain't got a crib with a girl yet. Like, I'm not engaged. Like, you know, it's different because, you know, we've all been there older, trying to reestablish ourselves, but then you realize, like, yo, this shit is just here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Or it's just on Instagram, or it's just on Facebook. This ain't real life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. It's okay to figure yourself out. It's okay to find somebody, you know, or find out how you're supposed to love or how you're supposed to be in a relationship. You ain't got to be established,
right?
You know
and as you get older, you start to realize what you really want. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't hold hands when I was in college. Now I'm quick to hold a motherfucking hand, real quick, motherfucker. Fucking skipping a part,
kissing in public.
Because this can go left real quick. I believe it.
Oh man.
JoJo said kissing in the park. That's not me.
Yeah, I said kissing in public, man.
All in the mouth with his eyes closed.
At the function.
Hey, low key, if I'm kissing somebody, Mook is watching me. I one time I poked one eye out and I saw him looking right at me. I was like, hey.
Chilling, just watching.
I'm like, bro, we in public. You got
put that in the database.
Nah. You love her, bro. You a big teddy bear. It's all good.
I am. I just want to be loved, man. That's
accepting it, man. Hey, I'm right there with you, bro. I'm right there with you. Accepting it. That's the first step. Accept this is who I am.
Yeah, this is who I am, man. I'm say, look, hold my hand and let's skip to the park, man. Come on.
Picnics, all that.
All picnics. I'm doing it all. Peanut butter sandwiches.
Little spoon.
Apple juice. Yeah, actually, that's the problem. You know what I mean, people want me to snuggle and hold them. Hold me.
That's it. That's it. Little spoon. It's okay. We ain't always got to be the big spoon.
Hold me.
Okay, all right, let me stop, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, moving on my head, so I'm really okay.
I'm about it. I got so much, but then we all know if we're gonna be able to use this episode.
Right. It's good. Don't wash it, man. Hold on, man.
Oh, that's just comedy. See, but for my listeners, man, you got when I talk about this as our therapy, it's really it. And the importance of having close friends. You don't need to have 10. You don't need to have 12, man. You can literally have two people, maybe one.
And I hear a lot of people say that you need to make sure that you're all like-minded. It's okay to have some that are like-minded, but you shouldn't all be like-minded either.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You should all trust each other. You know, and I think that that's what we have here is that
Right.
there's nothing in it for you to lose or win. I just want to see you succeed, King.
Right.
Each one of you, you know, and I know that you want that for me. And that's a feeling that you get when you get part of these groups and you get part of something. So just to take it there, that's why I wanted to add my little bit.
Right.
Most definitely. And something that we talked about on the last podcast was therapy. I know I brought it up earlier, and this is our therapy. But for listeners, if you don't have a group of people that you can honestly be open and comfortable with, get a therapist. You don't have to wait until shit actually hits the fan. And I think that's what Dr. Furguson said on our last episode is like, be proactive. I think as a culture, we are reactive a lot to different situations that happen to us, when a lot of times we can be proactive and just be vulnerable, talk to somebody. So actually, somebody today, so for my listeners, I'm a pharmaceutical rep and I deal with bipolar and depression on an everyday basis. And I went to a doctor's office today and the lady up front was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to start taking your medication. She was being funny, but she was being serious at the same time. Right. And I even told her, I was like, before you start taking medication and stuff like that, I was like, do you exercise? Do you have a therapist? And she was like, she laughed. She was Hispanic and she laughed at it. Like, I'm not talking to a therapist. This literally happened today. And I was like, I even told her, I said, that's our issue, is that we laugh at situations like that. If I ask you, have you talked to a therapist, you'll laugh at me. You know what I mean? And it got serious for a second. And I said, I'm telling you should probably get a therapist before you start taking my medication or exercise. She was like, well, I don't have time to exercise. She said she had a son. And I was like, don't you take him to a park or don't you take him outside sometimes? And I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah. Walk around the block. You know what I mean? Be a little bit active. You don't got to go run a 5K marathon or anything. Just walk around the block, go get your mail or something, and talk to a therapist. It could literally be that simple as a first step before you try medications and go down this whole rabbit hole of treatment. You know what I mean? So that's my 2 cents on something, at least where to start. You know what I mean?
Yeah, baby just trying to joke with you and you hit her. You
said, bring it back. Bring it back.
I brought that shit. Come here. You know what I mean? She was like,
oh, yeah, little jokey jokes.
Hell no. I said, matter of fact, come listen to our podcast right now.
You know what the month just passed?
She was just trying to flirt with you, bro.
That's it. She was just flirting just a little bit. You said, nah, come here.
I think you need a therapist.
You want to talk about the Lord?
and you need some workouts.
You sound like those ICDC college commercials. Look at you. You out of shape. You sitting on your couch. You ain't got nothing to do.
That shit turned left hella quick. I did though. Man, you might be right. She might have just been flirting. I took that shit serious. No.
Game time.
See, that's a problem.
See, that's the problem. You're laughing at me.
That's the problem with us, brother.
Oh God, you might be right though.
So you might need to call her tomorrow.
Right. Hey, listen. I don't know your life. I apologize.
Hey, like,
I know you didn't ask for that.
I wasn't saying you was fat.
You what?
I said I wasn't saying that you were fat or nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was saying exercise. Damn.
Yeah, you bring up some flowers next time you go into that office.
I'm not finna do all that. But yeah, damn, you might be right. I might have went off a little bit. It got real. She was listening.
Hey, well, who wouldn't?
Listening?
Who wouldn't?
Probably sitting in a chair like, bro. She probably sitting down, wall standing up. She's sitting in a chair still.
I was standing up. She was sitting down. You damn right.
She over there.
Oh man, that's cool, buddy.
Oh, hey, but look, I'm gonna speak the truth if I got to.
They ain't playing about this mental health, man. We ain't playing
mental health. Ain't no joke. People get stuck on these pills.
But not for real. All jokes aside, man, like for real,
they do
because it's like you skipping steps, you know. And I can't remember which one of them said it, but they were like, you got to approach your mental health like you approach your physical health, like you approach your job, like you approach all the other things you care about.
Right.
You know, we taking care of all this. We working out, or we doing that, but are you really like working out your mind? Are you really going and getting yourself taken care of? Like that's the issue. It's like we're not treating this like it's another part of our vehicle, a muscle. You know what I'm saying? Like we're just skipping it. It's like we're skipping leg day. You know, like looking crazy.
Hey, not to be funny, but have you not done legs for a minute and then tried to fuck around and really do a squat?
Bro, it's all bad.
If he fucked off,
it's all bad.
No, Mookie, you don't have that issue?
Nah, you ain't gonna catch me on the squat.
Nah, man.
You don't do squat at all?
I'm not them days anymore. I can do the same. I can hit all the same muscles on the other machines. I'm good on the squats.
Damn. He said lunges, baby.
I'm gonna hit some lunges. I'm gonna hit some leg press, some leg curls. I'm gonna get them right, but you ain't gonna catch me. My knees ain't the same no more.
I feel it. But hey, like you said, man, it's the same muscle. You gotta
practice. You gotta use it, man. You don't use it, you lose it. You don't take care of your mental health, you'll literally lose your mind.
That's a good quote.
And don't wait until it's too late. You know, like we talk about, you wait till it's too late, it's a wrap. You don't know when a mental breakdown's coming. You don't know when that anxiety attack is coming, or that just, you know, that fall apart moment. You won't see that coming. You know.
And that's why you have to have a net or some people around you that's gonna catch you.
Yeah.
So look, I appreciate you guys, man. This was impactful because for the simple fact we could be vulnerable. We talked about some situations and personal issues that we've had, and I appreciate you guys always being vulnerable here and letting the listeners understand that it ain't all sweet. You know what I mean? It ain't all peaches and cream. We are all trying to get better and learn as we go. So Kings, I appreciate you. For the listeners, we appreciate you. And make sure that you like, share, and comment. But most importantly, be kings today and every day. Peace.
Black King.